All right, Culver Jones, CFBAD podcast, and I'm coming at you with the second half of my top 25 preseason power rankings. I'm going to go ahead and start off with unveiling the few teams who did not make either list who y'all think maybe should. Please let me know in the comments. And yeah, let's start this off. If y'all saw my SEC preview and you have a guess about which team is ranked in most people's polls that is not in this one, and yes, you are correct. It's the Texas A&M Aggies. All right. I do not have them in the top 25. I don't really have them near the top 25. I just don't believe that you can get in off just talent alone. I don't think that deserves ranking, and people are just forgiving them for a 5-7 season unnecessarily. If you want to hear my A&M breakdown more, please let me know. Here's another team that I don't think, and it pains me more to say this because I really like this team. One of my teams for sure, but I don't have Oklahoma near the top 25. I just need to see it from Venables, and I need to see it from Gabriel. I just don't think that they're bringing enough to the table, enough excitement on either end of the football for them to warrant a ranking. So sadly, and they just don't have the offensive weapons that they used to, too. There's no, I guess Farouk's their guy. Eric Gray is gone, so it's really it seems like a vanilla offense, which is far removed from them just a couple years ago. So, yeah, after what Riley did to them, it's a whole new team. Venables needs to show me something to believe in. Otherwise, if he doesn't, he's on the hot seat. And here's another one that a lot of people have ranked. I think people are going to forgive me more for this than the other two, despite them playing in the national championship game. And that's Texas Christian, Horned Frogs. Let's just face it. Yeah, they played in the national championship game, but they literally lost everybody. I could name people forever. Tomlinson, Miller, Johnston, Duggan. So they're bringing in Chandler Morris at QB. I don't know how I feel about that. And most importantly, the most important departure by a lot out of all that is offensive coordinator Garrett Riley's going to Clemson. So too much turnover for me to rank them, and it's not like USC turnover from like nothing to everything. It seems like they're going from this to this. So yep, I don't have TCU ranked. And with that, last episode I left off with number 18 South Carolina Gamecocks, and they were the last of the quality teams. So I'm going to start it off with the true contenders. I could see a realm where any of these teams make the playoffs. Obviously, like number 17, is going to be less likely than the top 10. But I really can see all these teams being contenders. And there's a lot of Pac-12 teams packed right in here, okay? Because I love the conference. I've watched it my whole life. I know a lot about it, right? But in the final year in 2023, we have no idea who's going to be the winner out of the 5 contenders. So at number 17, I'm talking about the team that I believe in probably the least. And this might take a lot of people by surprise because some people are picking them to make the playoff. I could see them make the playoff, and I could see them, getting a New Year's 6. But, given that I'm just having such a tough time picking the pecking order of the Pac-12, I have number 17 starting off this episode is the Washington Huskies. Michael Penix, Braylon Trice, 2 of the best players in the country. Their receiving room is incredible. They got Odunze and McMillan. But if you're talking about the Beavers and the Utes and the Trojans and the Ducks, it's just too much for them to climb. Like it's there's too many teams in the conference that I gotta put above them. And I don't trust their trenches as much, believe it or not. I don't trust their trenches as much. But I mean, obviously they're an incredible team, and I'd probably put them a little bit higher if they beat Boise significantly, just because Boise's also ranked in mine too. So yeah, probably a way more close rank to rank matchup than y'all would think. But yeah, so I got the Huskies starting it off at 17, and then at number 16, same region, Pac-12 North, we got the Oregon State Beavers. I really want to put them. I want to put them number 4, man. I want to put them as high as possible. But of those 5 teams, they have the worst quarterback room, even though it's not bad at all. They do have the best offensive line, though, which is good. And they did lose their 2 best players on defense, probably in Omar Speights and Rajon Wright. So that's probably the only downside. I mean, I think the sky is the limit with the Beavers as well as with the Huskies. I just couldn't really rank them ahead of Utah, even though I think they could definitely win that game just after how Utah handed it to them last year. And like the Ducks let that game get away from them, and the Beavers lost to USC as well too. So yeah, that's why I put the Beavs at number 16. But I mean, y'all saw my video on them, then you are well aware that I think they could be the Cinderella story, not in the conference, but in the whole realm of college football. So go Beavs. Number 15, I got K-State. They've been very consistent. I actually like Will Howard more than Martinez, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with the full season of starting at quarterback. They did lose Deuce Vaughn, the reincarnation of the muscle hamster. And however, they're Big 12 champs, man. Let's not take it from them. And I trust them. I trust them in the trenches. So I got them at number 15. I just doubt that they're not going to have a couple conference losses, I just doubt that they're going to compete. And let's be honest, Bama dismantled them in the bowl game. And you got to think that K-State was trying in that bowl game. You got to think they were facing Bama, giving it their all. So a little different than other bowl games when people aren't playing their best. But K-State definitely a solid team. Number 14, already got my 3rd Pac-12 team. And it's my old tromping ground, Utah Utes. They're Pac-12 champs. So I got 2 conference champs, 14 and 15, believe it or not. But, I mean, I still got the Ducks and the Trojans ahead of them. I mean, I know Utah fans might be like, what the fuck, man? We beat the Trojans twice. The second time it wasn't even close, how can you put them ahead of us? The thing is I think that Utah got slightly worse and USC got a little better, maybe. Also, Rising's health is actually becoming a legitimate concern. The line against Florida has gone from 8 to 5.5 at some places. That's insane. Not a lot of people think that Rising's gonna play then, I guess. And so, I mean, I think they had another injury in the quarterback room as well. So I think Bryson Barnes would be starting, who's their 3rd string on the depth chart, and that's a completely different team than when Cam Rising's at the helm. So partially why I don't have them up there. Lost a lot of production on defense, lost Kincaid, though I think Keithy's going to be great, but he also has some injury questions as well. And yeah, so that's why I got Utah only at 14, but once again, I could see them winning a conference again because I trust Whittingham and I trust Andy Ludwig and I trust what they do in the trenches. Moving on to number 13, And this is a team not like Utah, not like K-State, who has some kind of model of consistency going. This is the Texas Longhorns. All right. Am I buying into the hype? Not quite. Do I think they're the most talented team in the Big 12? Yeah. Have they been that before? Yeah. Would they be the most talented team in the SEC West? No, not yet. Do I like Ewers? Kind of. I think there's a lot to like, but after that moment of brilliance in the Alabama game, I don't think he ever really reached that again all season. So I hope he hit the offseason hard. He changed the look. I'm liking it, but they got to show me before I'm going to be putting them in and saying, hey, they're going to win the conference for sure. Put them in the top 10. I got them at 13. I'm not super proud of it. But another thing is, like, I'm a big defense guy, and I don't argue with it when the defense is good, man. And the defense is looking good. So not only is it one of the most talented teams and has a lot of offensive firepower, but definitely one of the better teams in the conference too. I think Baylor might have a better defense when it's all said and done. But, yep. It's Gary Patterson, man. That guy can coach him some X's, man. You know? So, yeah, Longhorns. I'm buying the hype to a certain extent, but definitely not like the rest of the football world. So, number 12, here's another team like the Longhorns who over the last 15 years has been kind of overrated. Not as much, but they just have. And last year, I don't even know if they were overrated. It was the craziest season last year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And that's why they're only at number 12. There's a lot to like, and they maybe made the best upgrade at quarterback by any team other than maybe the Beavers, because their quarterback room was god awful last year. Pine and Buckner, it was not working at all. And they add one of the most experienced guys, a guy who's just an absolute gamer, in Sam Hartman. So what's there not to love? I like Freeman a lot. He's a defense guy. But I mean, you're still scratching your head about Marshall. And you're still scratching your head about Stanford, which means you're probably scratching your head about Clemson. And then they really played Ohio State better than anybody other than Michigan. And, well, I don't know. Ohio State had some closer calls. But they played Ohio State great. Like, I was getting ready to say, man, like, Notre Dame's defense might actually be legit. And then they just lose. But we'll see. I think that they're going to definitely win another couple games because of Hartman and because of Freeman getting that defense under more control in his second year. So they'll be better, but can't put them in the top 10. Too many unknowns and too funky of a season last year. So moving on, number 11, once again, another team in the Pac-12, and we got the Oregon Ducks. All right. So the Oregon Ducks have a lot of talent, and I don't know why, but I feel like their recruiting power is slept on a little bit. I don't know why it shouldn't be. Maybe that's just what I'm feeling, but they have like the blue chip ratio, which means they're talented as hell, and their recruiting class is there. Lanning's only through with 1 year at the Ducks. And let's face it, they almost snuck their way back in the playoff after getting absolutely trounced by the Bulldogs. That's how much better they were playing. That's how much better he got those boys to play. The loss against Washington, a little bit of the head scratcher. You can blame the loss against Washington and the Beavs on Bo Nix being injured for sure. So yeah, if Nix stays healthy the whole year, you got Bucky Irving. They did great in the transfer portal. Defense should be stellar. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to love. But I mean, given that the Pac-12, I just feel like I'm blindly throwing a dart. What what would I be doing putting one in the top 10 that over another, And the Ducks blew it in late game scenarios, and that's just not going to cut it if they do that again. They can't have a repeat of the Huskies, and they can't have a repeat of the Beavers. Which brings me to number 10. Do I sound like a broken record? Yes. Another team in the Pac-12. Yes, you probably know who it is now. Yes, they are the highest ranked. And here's what I will say about them being the highest ranked. I trust Riley's floor more than anybody's, other than maybe Utah's, just because of the trenches stuff and just because of how physical they are. But I mean, like, if Cam Rising were to get hurt, the season would be over for Utah. I don't think it's the same with Caleb Williams to the same extent. It definitely is. They're definitely not going to compete for a title, but the Utes would probably be like a 7-5 team this year, 7-5 probably without Rising, if that. I don't think they'd be better than UCLA or Arizona. USC, I still think would be better. And that's just a testament to Riley's scheming, and they just have an insane amount of talent. You know that they have. It doesn't matter who they got. Their receivers are going to be great. They probably have 3 running backs that are great. Defensive talent's getting better. So yeah, I trust them, but I will say this: I still don't think they're going to win the conference. I know this sounds like really convoluted. I had that video explaining them not winning the conference, and then y'all might be like, well, what the hell? How do you rank them higher than everyone else? I trust them, and then I trust them to choke. Okay? I trust them to get to the spot, and then I trust them to blow it. All right? That's what's going to happen with USC again this year. They're going to get there, and they're going to choke. But I if there was one team I had to bet on not dropping out of the top 25 all year, it would be USC. So there you have it. Just because I could see the Beavers losing a game and everyone freaking out, and then all of a sudden they go on a tear or something like that. Yep. Number 9, we're going with the Clemson Tigers. And we're going to the new home of Lincoln's little brother, Garrett Riley, who I think right now to me looks like an equal offensive genius and wizard. I mean, what he did last year at TCU was absolutely incredible. So Clemson's ceiling is definitely a ship. They're definitely a contender, just because I think Garrett Riley elevates them to that level. Klubnik is not as good as when they won with Watson or T-Law, but they got Will Shipley out of the backfield, and their defensive front should still be very good once again. So they haven't felt the same, but if you look up there on the blue chip talent ratio, Clemson's right up there with everyone else. You're like, they're falling off, blah, 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 blah. Clemson and Bama are falling off. On paper, they still are 2 of the most talented teams, albeit Texas and OU and A&M are all talented on paper, but come on, Clemson still has a model of consistency. They still were a 10-win team, and it's still one of the toughest places to play in the country. So there you go. Number 8, I got another team in orange, the team that dismantled them in the bowl game, and yeah, that's why I got them higher. Sorry. And that's the Tennessee Volunteers, and probably the most firepower offense we saw last year. And I think it has a chance to be even better with Joe Milton. They made an upgrade at quarterback, but they did lose their 2 best weapons, so we'll see how it goes. But I definitely trust their scheme. I trust them to be great. I think they're a contender. Do I think they'll make the playoff? No, but they're still going to be a top 10 team. I mean, come on. They're just incredible in so many levels, and they're going to score on everybody except maybe the Bulldogs. But there's no reason for Tennessee not to be ranked very high. Given what they saw, it just is given all the signs that it seems like they're back. Do I trust their defense? No. Maybe their weapons were everything because like Hyatt could fly and Tillman was supposed to be the guy before. Are they going to win it all? No, they're too fancy for that, too much offense for that. But are they going to beat a lot of teams along the way? Yes, absolutely. Number 7, I got the Florida State Seminoles. And there's a lot to love. And y'all know Travis is getting a lot of hype, I'm sure. But let's talk about their best player. That's Jared Verse. All right. Probably one of the best defenders in the country, if not the best, Um, absolute beast up front. Absolute beast. And one of the best defenses in the country, certainly front seven. So they might be less talented than all the teams if you give the rest of their squad. But given how they can get after the quarterback, they should still be considered as one of the more talented teams, and that they got an incredible quarterback themselves. Tennessee also is not one of the blue chip teams, I should mention. But I think Florida State has enough power getting after the quarterback, and Travis is just a stud enough to the point where they're taken legitimately. Moving to number 6, the team that they're going to play on a Sunday, and that's your LSU Tigers. I got them one ahead just because, I don't know, just because. You could flip-flop them, it wouldn't really matter because they're going to play, so I like having these teams neck and neck who are playing early on. So, like Tulane and Ole Miss, because it's like, why not? Just have them next to each other. It'll answer everything, So, Daniels, great quarterback, potential Heisman. Brian Kelly, one of the most proven coaches. And it was only his first year. All right? Like, Norvell had some time. That was Kelly's first year. So, if he keeps on going from there to there, then obviously they could win the ship. Will they? I don't think so. Will they beat Bama again? Tough ask. Could they? Yes. Could they get figured out a little? Maybe. Maybe they did kind of had the beginner's luck in the SEC West. I don't know. Now they're going to be on the hunted side way more for sure. But they took me by surprise last year, and I would be very disrespectful if I put them below where they are, I feel like. And number 5, I got the Nittany Lions, who absolutely destroyed Utah in the bowl game. They got one of the best running back rooms in the country. They're adding one of their more hyped quarterback prospects they've ever had in Drew Aller. And everybody's been saying it's Franklin's best team. All right? Franklin's a great coach, but he hasn't done it yet, right? Will he do it? Will he make a playoff? I don't know, because everyone else is saying it's Harbaugh's best team too, so that might hold him back. And then you got Ohio State just chilling there too. But I mean, Penn State seems like instead of being a notch below, they're right with everyone this year. That's at least the buzz around the team. I will be keeping my eye on them this year. And other than that, though, number 5, I just can't put them higher than that. I know they're getting all the buzz. I could see them making a playoff. I could see them beating the big boys. But I could see them losing to both again. It's just how it goes. And Aller is still, like it or not, he's still a freshman. And Penn State's used to trotting out experience at quarterback. Let me tell you that. Used to trotting out a lot of experience. So it'll be nice to see a freshman out there, honestly, after all the journeymen. And, yep. Now my top 4, y'all know I'm not going to throw anything out there like, oh, yeah. Huh? But here's the order. Number 4, I have Alabama. Can't put them higher than the other 3. You know, they weren't in the playoff. And although Michigan did lose their playoff game, they still beat Ohio State. And they seem like they have all their chips in play. So Bama, number 4. The aforementioned Ohio State, number 3. I mean, they did play Georgia better than anybody, except I guess kind of Mizzou. But they played Georgia better than everybody, and they're still Ohio State, and they're always going to be in that top 4. I could see them losing 2 games. It does feel like they're on the decline in a weird way, but they're also not. So they're kind of confusing. Day is getting a lot of hate for losing 1 game, even though this guy did, he's barely lost any conference games. I think he's lost 1 or 2 conference games. Absolutely absurd. He's winning games, but I mean, if you lose to your rival, especially that rivalry, you're going to get questions. And honestly, that's why I have them 1 behind Michigan, because they're 0-2 the last 2 years, and it really wasn't close, especially last year. And number 2, I got Michigan, right? Obviously. So, Michigan, number 2, everyone says it's Harbaugh's year. It seems like it's Harbaugh's year. They got so much talent everywhere. My one thing is I don't trust McCarthy as much as everyone else does, it seems like. The running back by committee is definitely going to be great, and they're always great in the trenches. Receiving, we'll see how Cornelius does this year. Doesn't seem like their weapons are as good as Ohio State's, but they should be good enough with the type of physical football they play, and they're clearly winning the battle over the last couple years. Harbaugh's finally gotten them to the point where, well, now it's ship or bust, you know? First it was Ohio State or bust and playoff. Well, maybe they should win a playoff game first to say before you say ship or bust, but Michigan's getting closer and closer and closer. But Harbaugh hasn't gotten it done, and he didn't get it done in the NFL either. So, y'all say what you may. Number 1, will they three-peat? My short answer is I would take the field. It just seems off. Their schedule seems too weak, which, I mean, I have them at number 1. I still think they're the best team. And this isn't to say, like, schedule matters for rankings, preseason, of course. But Georgia feels like their schedule is going to be really weak, and they're going to kind of go unscathed and be 12-0 a la Florida State Seminoles in 2013, or a la Florida Gators and in 09, and then just have that one slip up the most important game, and then they'll be scratching their heads and say, fuck, we let the three-peat go, even though they're the best team. And let's face it, Bennett's not there anymore. So are they still the best team? Yes. Are they as good as last year? Who knows? But I just don't think they're going to win. That's kind of my hot take. Is that a hot take? I don't even know. But yeah, there you go. That wraps up the power rankings, you know. If I'm missing any teams, or if you disagree with the order, please let me know. Please put any amended power rankings in the comments too. I would love to maybe comment back on that. But yeah, appreciate y'all once again. Week 0 is literally right here. So the season's here, as crazy as that is. And I am pumped. So I'll get a couple more preseason before week 1, obviously, because it's still week 0. Couple more preseason before week 1. And then, yeah, we're going to get right through it. I'll be with y'all through the season. Hopefully got a couple episodes a week. So, yep. Much love. Peace, y'all.